Well, excuse me. Good evening. This is Kent Blaylock from SDG Replays coming to you this evening for the continuation of our playing of the Dumpster Fire Invitational. We are in the finals of the Dumpster Fire Invitational, which is a tournament with the bottom 16 teams from the 1979 Major League Baseball season. We now find ourselves in the finals with two teams that were seeded pretty poorly. The New York Mets were seeded number 14 against the 12th seeded Seattle Mariners. And that's our game today. We're in game 3 now of this matchup. The series is now tied 1-1 with the Mets winning the last game. First game went to the Mariners, who pitched the ball well. Both teams in a pitching duel for a 3-2 game. Hello, Tony. How are you, bud? The second game was a game that was won by the Mets, who swung the bat well and home runs flying out of the stadium. So today's game, we're going to see how this one goes as it plays out, as these two teams look to become the best of the worst. So let's get into our game. Coming to you from Shea Stadium this afternoon, as you see the starting lineups. I played this tournament with no designated hitters, so both pitchers will be batting ninth. Rick Honeycutt will be on the mound for the Mariners, and Kevin Cobell for the Mets. Starting lineups for the Mariners. Leading off, second baseman Julio Cruz. Batting second, center fielder Rupert Jones. Batting third, and at first base, Bruce Bochy. Batting fourth, your right fielder Leon Roberts. Batting fifth, at third base, Dan Meyer. Batting sixth, left fielder Tom Paciorek. Batting seventh, your catcher Larry Cox. And batting eighth, your shortstop Mario Mendoza. And again, Rick Honeycutt pitching, batting ninth. For the home team New York Mets, leading off, center fielder Lee Mazzilli. At second base and batting second, Tim Foley, your shortstop. I called him a second baseman when actually he's a shortstop. Batting third, left field, Steve Henderson. Batting fourth, playing first base, Willie Montanez. Batting fifth, your catcher, John Stearns. Batting sixth, your third baseman, Richie Hebner. And batting seventh, right fielder, Joel Youngblood. And at second base and batting eighth, Doug Flynn. And again, pitching, Kevin Cobell for the Mets. Let's get into our game. Live from New York, Shea Stadium. It's Julio Cruz steps to the plate, batting .317 for this tournament. He comes up. Yeah, Tony, I picked out I just went in and looked at the season in 79 and took the bottom 16 teams, seeded them accordingly by their record. Interesting enough, like I said, these are the 14th and the 12th seeded teams. So it did not go according to chalk. So here we go. Julio Cruz leading off, batting .317 during this tournament with 3 RBIs. Kevin Cobell on the mound. Here's the pitch from Cobell. Hit it sharply to Foley at short. Up with the ball over to first for the 6-3 putout. Out number 1. Yeah, 1 second. I like to make this a little personal. Let's put my ugly mug out here. So 1 out. With nobody on, Rupert Jones steps to the plate. Rupert Jones batting .259 with 10 RBIs and 5 home runs. So when he swings the bat, he's hitting it far, but can he get bat on ball? Here's a pitch from Coble. Sit to Flynn at second. Possible error on Flynn. And he will make the play over to first for out number 2. Coble during this tournament is 3-1. He's pitched 17 innings, but he does have a 5.71 ERA, so he's allowed a lot of runs across the plate, but he's got good run support from the Mets, who have swung the bat pretty well in this tournament. Bruce Bochy steps to the plate for the Mariners as Coble goes to the windup. Here's the pitch. And he puts Bochy on first with the free pass. So with 2 outs, man on first. Leon Roberts to the plate. Roberts batting .224 with 2 RBIs. Bochy takes a slight lead. Coble to the belt. Here's the pitch. It's hit to second. Again, possible infield single. Can Roberts beat out the throw? And he does not. They get him at first by a half step. So 3 up. 4 up. 1 walked. We go to the bottom of the first. Lee Mazzilli stepping to the plate. Honeycutt for this tournament is 2-1, pitching 22 2/3 innings, again with a 5.56 ERA. A lot of runs coming across the plate for these bottom feeder teams. Lee Mazzilli steps up as Rick Honeycutt goes into the windup. Here's the pitch to Mazzilli. All right, we got a rare play possibility. It's a dribbler to the mound. Can Mazzilli beat out the throw to first? He does not as they get him by a half step. Mazzilli's out at first. Great play by Honeycutt on the mound for out number 1. I'll bring Tim Foley to the plate. Foley batting .234 with 5 RBIs during this tournament. Honeycutt brings the pitch. Foley hits it sharply to second. Cruz up with it over to first for the 4-3 put out for out number 2. And I'll bring Steve Henderson to the plate. Henderson batting .373 with 9 RBIs and a home run during this tournament. Honeycutt eyeballing Henderson. Henderson mean bugged back. Here's the pitch. It's hit into left field. It's a line drive towards the gap. Roberts is on his horse. Can he get to it? He does as he gets it off the shoe tops for out number 3. So 3 up, 3 down. We go to the top of the second with Dan Meyer stepping to the plate. Meyer batting .316 with 10 RBIs and 3 home runs during the length of this tournament. Kevin Coble goes into the stretch. Here's the pitch to Meyer. It's hit into center field. It's a line drive towards the gap. Mazzilli trying to hunt it down. He's on his bicycle. He does not get to it as it gets to the wall. It's a double into center field. Meyer's got good speed. He makes it all the way to third. It's a lead-off triple for Dan Meyer as we now have a runner on third with no outs. And Tom Pasoric coming to the plate. Lead-off triple for Meyer. As Pasoric steps into the batter's box, digs in. Coble toe under rubber. Here's the pitch. Pasoric lines out to left field. Can Meyer make it in? No, the third base coach tells him to hold. Hit too sharply. So with one out, Larry Cox steps to the plate, swinging the bat poorly here in the tournament, batting 185. He does, however, have 11 RBIs. So when he's hit the ball, he's brought in runs. So maybe it'll be this time as well, as we have a runner on third. Larry Cox steps in. Coble with the pitch. And he strikes him out. So Coble got what he wanted, the strikeout in the second out. He can rest a little easier, take a deeper breath. As Mario Mendoza steps to the plate, Mendoza not known for his bat. He's batting 157, 2 RBIs. As Meyer steps off the bag on third. Coble with the pitch. He hits it to Flynn at second. Flynn up with it over to third. And Meyer is left stranded on third as we go to the bottom of the second. Still scoreless. And Willie Montanez stepping to the plate. Montanez batting .295 with 14 RBIs and 3 home runs. So he's hitting well with runners on. But now he looks at empty bases as he leads off the second. Here's the pitch. It's a single up the middle as it drops in front of Rupert Jones in center field. Montanez on first safely for a leadoff single. And I got one of my dogs enjoying himself behind me. As John Stearns steps to the plate, Stearns batting .242 with 10 RBIs and 2 home runs. As Rick Honeycutt toes the rubber, Montanez takes a slight lead. Here's the pitch. So now it's a 2 balls. Hey, buddy, what's up? So Stearns still at bat, 2 balls against him. As Honeycutt brings the pitch, Montanez takes a slight lead. It's a ground ball to second. They get the force at second, so it was a fielder's choice. Stearns will make it to first with 1 out. The lead runner was cut down at second as Richie Hebner steps in. 1 out, 1 on. Hebner batting .313 with 3 RBIs. As Stearns, with decent speed, is looking to steal. And he does, as he gets to second safely as he slides under the tag. And we've got a runner on second with 1 out. And Hebner at the plate. Hebner steps into the batter's box. Honeycutt toes the rubber. Here's the pitch. Hit to Cruz at second. Over to first for the 4-3 putout, but that will move Stearns over to third with 2 outs. We have a runner 90 feet from home as Joel Youngblood steps to the plate. Youngblood during this tournament is batting .236 with 7 RBIs. Youngblood steps in. Honeycutt brings the pitch. And he strikes him out as Youngblood takes the walk of shame back to the dugout, grabs his glove, and heads out to the field. Rick Honeycutt leading off the third will swing away. Not used to swinging the bat. This should be an adventure in futility. Here's the pitch. Oh, and it's 6 all the way across, which normally would mean trouble, but for him, it's a short fly out to left field as Steve Henderson settles under it easily for out number 1. I'll bring Julio Cruz back up to the plate. He grounded out to short his first time up. Coble toeing the rubber. Here's the pitch. Julio Cruz hits it sharply to third. It's a possible infield single as Cruz is motoring down first base, and they get him. He is out. As you can see there, had a 4 out of 6 chance to be safe, but we rolled the 1, so he is out as they get him by a half a step. That'll bring Rupert Jones to the plate with 2 outs, no one on. Jones grounded out to second his first time up. Here's the pitch to Jones. It's hit to first. Montanez up with it. Steps on the bag for out number 3. 3 up, 3 down. As we go to the bottom of the third. Still scoreless here in Shea Stadium. I'll bring Doug Flynn to the plate. Flynn batting .259 with 6 RBIs during this tournament as Honeycutt, the left-hander, toes the rubber into the windup. Here's the pitch. And he pops it up the third base. Meyer easily under it for out number 1. That'll bring Kevin Coble to the plate. Coble, during the season, batted .196 in 48 at-bats. He does have 1 RBI during this tournament. Here's the pitch to Coble. The short fly to center field. Rupert Jones settling underneath it for out number 2. I'll bring Lee Mazzilli back to the plate. Grounded a little roller to the pitcher in the first inning. As Mazzilli steps in, Honeycutt toes the rubber and brings the pitch. It's a double to center field as it gets to the wall. Jones runs it down, tosses it back in, but Mazzilli is safe on second with 2 outs. As Tim Foley steps in, Foley, his first time up, grounded out to second. As Mazzilli takes a short lead off of second, here comes the pitch from Honeycutt. And it's a base on balls as Foley gets the free pass. And so with 2 outs, we have runners on first and second. And Steve Henderson is stepping to the plate. Henderson stepping into the batter's box. Honeycutt bearing down. Here's the pitch. And he pops it up easily to Cruz at second. Cruz underneath it for out number 3. And we go to the 4th, still scoreless here, as both pitchers pitching well. As Bruce Bochy steps to the plate, he walked his first time up. Coble into the windup and the pitch. So ball hit to center field. Mazzilli underneath it for out number 1. For the F8 putout as Leon Roberts steps to the plate. Roberts grounded out to second his first time up. Here's the pitch to Roberts. Coble bearing down. It's hit sharply to Hebner at third. Up with it over to first for the 5-3 putout for out number 2. As Dan Meyer steps in. Meyer tripled his first time up. Coble toeing the rubber. Meyer stepping in, digging in. Here's the pitch to Meyer. And it's hit sharply to second. A line drive that's stabbed out of the air by Flynn. For out number 3. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Still scoreless. As Willie Montanez steps in. Montanez singled his last time up. Honeycutt takes a deep breath Goes into the windup. Here's the pitch. It's a fly out to right field. Roberts underneath it easily for out number 1. That'll bring John Stearns to the plate. Grounded out to second. His first time up. Here's the pitch to Stearns. And he lifts one into center field. Rupert Jones, a few steps back underneath it for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down as Richie Hebner steps to the plate. He grounded out to second, his first time up as Honeycutt. Into the windup, Hebner digging in. And he hits a short fly to right field. Roberts, a couple steps in underneath it for out number 3. And we go to the 5th, still scoreless, as Tom Paciorek steps in for the Mariners. Kevin Coble towing the rubber. Paciorek lined out to left field his last time up. Coble into the windup and the pitch. It's a ground out to the pitcher. Over to first for the 1-3 put out for out number 1. As Coble fielded that easily for the first out. Larry Cox steps to the plate. Cox struck out his first time up. Here's the pitch from Coble. And he hits a sharp liner to right field. Youngblood, with just two steps over, stabs it out of the air for out number 2. That'll bring Mario Mendoza back to the plate. Grounded out to second his first time up. 2 up, 2 down. Now Mendoza steps in, digs in. Coble with the pitch. And it's a single to center field as it drops in front of Mazzilli. So we have a runner on with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th as Honeycutt steps to the plate. Probably just a wasted runner on the base pass as Honeycutt looks to take his cuts at it. And he pops it up to short as Foley ranges under it easily for out number 3. Didn't think the 5th inning was late enough to pull Honeycutt yet. We're still scoreless here. If the Mets had been behind, I would have pulled him. But since we're still scoreless, he remained in as Joel Youngblood steps to the plate for the Mets. He struck out his first time up. Here's the pitch from Honeycutt. And he pops it up to second. Cruz underneath it easily for out number 1. As we have a pitching duel going on through the 5th. Doug Flynn steps in for the Mets. He popped up to third his last time up. Honeycutt into the windup and the pitch. And he'll pop it up to second base. Cruz with it easily for out number 2. And that'll bring up Kevin Coble. Coble as well will swing away. Here's the pitch to Coble. Honeycutt to his counterpart. And he strikes him out as Coble goes back to the dugout, grabs his glove, and runs out to the mound. We go to the top of the 6th, still scoreless, as I take a sip of coffee. That'll bring Julio Cruz up to the plate. Cruz hitless on the day as Coble toes the rubber. Cruz steps in. Here's the pitch. And he fouls it out to Flynn, who ranges down the first base line, settles underneath it for out number 1. That'll bring Rupert Jones to the plate. Jones also hitless on the day, as most of the batters are. It's Coble into the windup and the pitch. And he pops it up to second base. Flynn settles underneath it as we can't seem to get the ball out of the infield for out number 2. That'll bring Bruce Boxty back to the plate. Boxty 0 for 2. Well, actually 1 for 2 with a walk. Actually, that would be 0 for 1, I guess. Here's the pitch. We have a ballpark effect. Range check on the left fielder. And it's made easily by Henderson as he settles underneath it for out number 3. 3 up, 3 down. And we go to the bottom of the 6th, still scoreless, as Lee Mazzilli steps to the plate. Mazzilli doubled his last time up. He's one of the few to be able to get on base. As Mazzilli steps in, Honeycutt with the pitch. And he strikes him out as Mazzilli, with his head hung low, walks back to the dugout. That'll be the 3rd strikeout for Honeycutt. As Tim Foley steps in, Foley walked his last time up. Here's the pitch from Honeycutt. Foley with a long single to right field. Leon Roberts gets it back in quickly, though. But can he hold Foley? Yeah. Foley's going to attempt to make second. He's got a good chance. And he's safe as he slides in under the tag, as Roberts didn't get it in quite quickly enough. So with 1 out, Foley's standing on second as Steve Henderson steps to the plate. Honeycutt into the windup and the pitch. And another base on balls, and we have 1 out. Is that right, Tony? I'm not real familiar with the New York area, living here in North Carolina. Growing up in the South in the 70s, the only team you had was the Braves. And the Braves in the 70s were not the best to watch. I actually am a Cleveland Indians fan because my grandfather was in their farm system in 1945. He was a pitcher for the Indians. This was actually in their spring training camp in 45. Willie Montanez steps to the plate to take his swing at it. He's 1 for 2 today with a single. 2 on, 1 out. Here's the pitch from Honeycutt. It's a ground ball to third. Meyer up with it. Over to second. Over to first for the 5-4-3 double play that ends that rally. And we go to the top of the 7th, still scoreless, as Leon Roberts stepped to the plate. Grounded out to third his last time up. Here's the pitch to Roberts. And he'll pop it up to second base as Flynn settles under it once again for out number 1. That'll bring Dan Meyer to the plate. Meyer's 1 for 2 with a triple. Lined out to second his last time up as Coble brings the pitch. The ball hit to second. Flynn, possible error as it's hit sharply to second. But Flynn makes a great stab at it, backhands it over to first for the 4-3 putout and out number 2. That'll bring Pasoric back to the plate. He's 0 for 2 on the day as Coble looking to get to the bottom of the 7th with the goose egg still on the scoreboard. Here's the pitch. as he will be tiring after this inning. Possible base on balls. And it will be, as he gives Pasoric the free walk down to first. So with 2 outs, we have a runner on. And Coble tiring as Larry Cox steps in. Cox 0 for 2 for the day. Here's the pitch. It's a line out to left field as it's hit to Henderson, who takes 1 step over and makes the catch for out number 3. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. Still scoreless. As Take Me Out to the Ball Game plays. Honeycutt stepping to the mound as John Stearns steps in to the batter's box. Stearns digging in. Here's the pitch from Honeycutt. And it's a single to right field. It drops in front of Roberts. So we have a leadoff single by Stearns, who's dangerous on the base pass. Will he be attempting to steal? He will. Will they hold him on? It looks doubtful. But they catch him stealing as the roll of 14 catches Stearns as Cox with a good throw down to second, and they get Stearns attempting to steal. So that gamble did not pay off as Richie Hebner steps to the plate. Honeycutt shaking his head in approval to his catcher, who just got a runner off the base pass. Honeycutt with the pitch. It's hit to Cruz at second. Over to first for the 4-3 putout and out number 2. Joel Youngblood stepping to the plate. Youngblood's 0 for 2 as Rick Honeycutt delivers. It's a line out to short as Mendoza with a leaping grab for out number 3. And we go to the 8th, still scoreless, as Coble is still on the mound. See if we can get another inning out of Coble as Mario Mendoza steps to the plate. Here's the pitch from Coble. Mendoza takes a cut at it, and it's a single to left field as it drops in front of a Henderson. So with no outs, we have a runner on, and Honeycutt stepping to the plate. That will be all for Honeycutt, as he will not come out for the bottom of the 8th. As Rod Craig will come in to pinch hit. Craig has swung the ball well in his plate appearances and his pinch hitting. He's 3 for 5 with an RBI. Mendoza on first. Here's the pitch from Coble as Craig digs in. He'll hit a long single to right field. Youngblood up with it. Mendoza to third. And we're going to send Craig to second. Let's see if we can get runners on second and third. Looks like there's a good chance. There is. He is safe. So we got runners on second and third with no outs. And Coble now fatigued. I think it's time for him to come out of the game. So we'll bring in the righty, Neil Allen, to try to pitch out of this situation. I'm sure Neil Allen's saying, thank you for putting me in with a runner on second and third with no outs. As Julio Cruz steps to the plate, Allen mean mugging Cruz as he brings the pitch. And he strikes him out. He gets what he wanted. He gets the strikeout for out number 1. As Rupert Jones steps to the plate. Jones, hitless on the day, popped up to second his last time up. Here's the pitch by Allen. Jones digging in. And he strikes out Jones. Neil Allen is coming in and he's dealing well. So he takes a deep breath, knowing that he just needs an out now. As Bruce Bochy steps in. Here's the pitch from Allen. It's hit to Foley at short. Over to first for the 6-3 put out. And Neil Allen comes in and shuts down the Mariners and shuts down that rally. Great job by Allen coming in. As Shane Raleigh will come in for the Mariners. Raleigh has thrown 10 2/3 innings with no runs coming across, and he's got a .66 whip, so he's pitched well. It's going to be Raleigh coming in to try to close this game out for the Mariners as Doug Flynn steps in. Here's the pitch from Raleigh. It's hit to first. Bochy up with it. Tags the bag for out number 1 for the 3 unassisted. As Neil Allen now will step to the plate. Allen done the job they asked him to do. Now they need runs to come across the plate. As Ed Cranepool will step in to pitch hit for Allen. Cranepool 1 for 5 during this tournament. Can he swing a good bat now? As Raleigh brings the pitch. Cranepool steps in. And he, with a good eye, takes the free pass down to first base. That'll bring Lee Mazzilli back to the plate. And Cranepool will look to steal. Try to get himself in scoring position. And he's caught stealing. Cox guns down Cranepool for out number 2. There ends any chance for Mazzilli to drive in a run as Mazzilli steps in. Raleigh to the plate. And he fouls out to third base to end the inning as Meyer ranges underneath it down the third baseline for out number 3. And we go to the top of the 9th. Still scoreless, each team with only 4 hits. As we need a new pitcher. As Skip Lockwood will come in for the Mets. As Leon Roberts steps to the plate. Roberts, hitless on the day, popped up to second his last time up. Skip Lockwood has pitched 8 innings during this tournament. He's got a 1.0 whip with 1 save. Here's the pitch from Lockwood. Roberts stepping in, hits it to Hebner at third. Over to first for out number 1 for the 5-3 put out. And Dan Meyer stepping to the plate. Meyer with 1 hit on the day, a triple in the first. His first time up. Skip Lockwood with the pitch. And he strikes him out as Meyer hangs his head low, walking back to the dugout. And that'll bring Tom Pasorek to the plate. Pasorek walked his last time up as Lockwood brings the pitch. It's a possible base on balls. And he does walk Pasorek, who gets the free pass. So we have a runner on with 2 outs. Larry Cox steps to the plate. We're going to bring in a pinch hitter for Cox. Let's see if I got a catcher I can bring in who swings the ball a little bit better, bat a little bit better. Valentine. He does swing it a little bit better. Let's bring in Bobby Valentine. He's a righty, though. I can bring in Stinson, who switch hits. Bob Stinson will come in. He's had 2 at-bats with an RBI, but no hits. As Lockwood steps in, Pasorek on third. And I know with 2 outs, you're not supposed to do this, but we're going to try to get something going here. And he strikes him out as Stinson goes down swinging. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Raleigh's still on the mound as Tim Foley steps in. Foley doubled his last time up. We're in the bottom of the 9th, still scoreless. Here's the pitch. And he grounds it out to Raleigh, who tosses it over to first for the 1-3 put out. And my dog is entertaining himself in the background. As Henderson steps up, Henderson has home run capability as he hit 5 in the year. He's got 9 RBIs with a home run in this tournament. As Raleigh bears down on Henderson, Henderson takes a cut at it. It's in the power column, but he strikes him out as Henderson goes back to the dugout. That'll bring Willie Montanez to the plate. Again, Montanez swinging the bat well with a .297 average with 14 RBIs. Montanez digging in. Raleigh with the pitch. And he grounds out too short. Mendoza over to first for the 6-3 put out, and we're going to extra innings. Still scoreless as we go to the top of the 10th. Skip Lockwood on the mound as Mario Mendoza steps in. We're going to try to get some offense in as Mendoza does not swing a good bat. Bring Larry Melbourne in. As Lockwood brings the pitch, Melbourne steps in, takes his cut at it, and he strikes him out. As Melbourne goes back to the dugout. Raleigh still pitching well, but need runs. We're bringing a pinch hitter. Bring in Joe Simpson to pitch hit. Simpson steps in. He's 3 for 7 during this tournament. Yet to drive in a run. Can he get himself on base? And he strikes him out as Lockwood was dealing here in the top of the 10th. That's the second out. As Cruz now steps to the plate. Lockwood feeling good about the way he's bringing the heat. Here's the pitch to Cruz. And it's a short fly ball to left field. Henderson underneath it easily for out number 3. And we go to the bottom of the 10th. Still scoreless. and Byron McLaughlin coming in for the Mariners. He's 0 for 1 during this tournament with 4 saves. Here's the pitch to Stearns. Oh, I need a substitution. That's short. That'll be Milbourne. As Stearns steps in, here's the pitch from McLaughlin. Hit to Meyer at third, over to first for the 5-3 put out for out number 1. That'll bring up Richie Hebner. Hebner is hitless on the day. As he digs in, McLaughlin into the stretch with the pitch. Rare play check. It's a dribbler to the mound. Will Hebner beat out the throw? And he does. Infield signal for Hebner as he beat it out to first. Hebner safely on as Joel Youngblood steps to the plate. Youngblood, hitless on the day, steps in to take his cut at it as McLaughlin brings the heat. And he'll walk Youngblood. So with 1 out, we have runners on first and second here in the bottom of the 10th. And Doug Flynn stepping to the plate. Here's the pitch to Flynn. And he's hit it into right field. Can he get to it? And he does. Short fly out to right field. Roberts had to get on his bicycle, but he gets it off the shoe tops for out number 2. And Lockwood's due up. That means that's all we'll see of Lockwood. As Alex Trevino will step to the plate. And I know he's a righty, but I think I need the better hitter. Didn't look too good with my other choices as Trevino steps up. McLaughlin with the pitch. It's a single to center field. Hebner will score. So we have our first run across, and that is the ball game, folks. As Trevino comes in with the RBI walk-off single to end the game. So it was a good call bringing in Trevino, who drives in our only run of the game as the Mets take this game 1-0. Skip Lockwood will get the win as Coble takes the loss. And that's our game for today. I hope you join it as the Mets take a 2-1 lead in this best-of-7 closeout for the Dumpster Fire Invitational. Hope you have a good evening. Tony, thanks for stopping by.